What is a simple, painful fact that people need to just get over and accept? Nothing is fixed in place forever and all is eventually forgotten. Enjoy the now, prepare for tomorrow and rarely worry about what the world thinks of you. It's really fucking easy to believe a lie that fits your worldview. The more you say obviously when you hear a fact, the more you should be skeptical of it. Your ex isn't next, move on. Clinging on to a failed relationship isn't healthy and consistently talking about it starts to bore and annoy everyone around you. Most friendships are friendships of convenience. Once you stop seeing someone every day at work or school, you'll realize how little you actually have in common and inevitably drift apart. That's why true lasting friendships are something to be treasured. An apology without corrective behavior is just manipulation. Don't apologize if you're not going to change, and yes, sometimes that means walking away and leaving things unresolved. It's still better than letting a bad situation go on for longer than it has to. Everyone makes a certain amount of money at their job. It should be okay to talk about salaries. There's this faux pas in society that says you can't talk about money, how much people make, etc. People just need to talk about it and share and make it more open. It would probably cut down on people being underpaid. The way that someone treats others is how they will treat you. That person who cheated on their partner with you is going to cheat on you with someone else. The friend who talks shit about everyone once they leave the room definitely also talks shit about you too. These types of people are not going to magically stop being toxic just for you, no matter how much they pretend you're special to them. I read something on a website a long time ago that had general rules of life. The one has always stuck with me. Said something along the lines of, people operate from the same two motivations, to fulfill their desires and to escape their suffering. Always really liked that. When someone screws you over, it's almost never personal, just someone looking out for themselves. Decent human being is way more important in the grand scheme of things than anything you can buy, brag about, or put on TikTok. Social media will have you believe that your makeup skills, world travel, trendy clothes or fancy digs matter. You can enjoy superficial stuff but it doesn't mean anything. Superficial possessions are literally meaningless. Being a kind and decent human being, on the other hand, means you are without a doubt touching lives of others in little ways every single day, and you likely don't even know it. Decent people leave a wake of gentle love behind them all the time. I think about people I've known like this really nice bus driver I had on a route I took frequently. He brought laughter to all of us and I still remember him 30 years later. I didn't quite appreciate nice, maybe dorky, good people until I was past my teens. I also figured out that if you can begin to appreciate quiet kindness in others, you're on your own way to becoming a decent human. Stop chasing people. Save your efforts for people who reciprocate your feelings. This includes family, friends, lovers, etc. Such a painful, but necessary lesson. Another one. Try to accept what people have to give you. It may not be what you want, but they can't give you what they don't have. You'll be less disappointed if you follow this advice. Most people have no interest in being nice to you, and you need to stop going out of your way to be nice to them and having them proceed to be dicks, only to cause you to depression spiral about why nobody likes you. Most people are just assholes. Accept it. Don't overthink it. Worry about how you feel about yourself, all that matters. And universities need to realize that you can't stop cheating if you keep reusing the same damn test every year. Cheating, at least in uni, is often a systematic problem, not a personal problem. If half of the class is cheating, it's because the students either see little value in your course, or they don't see any benefits in doing it honestly. Your job as a professor or teacher isn't to just hand out tests and lecture, it's to teach the students the topics. I've had so many colleagues of mine complain about their whole class cheating and threatening to report, but what is that going to do? It'll just demotivate them. They could be incredibly intelligent kids, but you will never know because you never put in the effort to give a test you haven't reused that past 20 years, or give a damn about their education. It's the same way with pirating movies and music. At some point most movie watchers didn't see any value in paying $20 for a DVD they're only going to watch once. Did cracking down on websites stop the momentum? Hell no, it made it better. You know what did? Netflix and Spotify, they offered a more direct service. Say some things about my countrymen in the US. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from the consequences of what you say. If you say things that people around you don't agree with and don't like, and don't want to hear, and they tell you to leave, this is not a suppression of your freedom of speech. You have the right to say what you want, and the government can't arrest you for speaking your mind as long as you're not inciting a riot or calling for criminal activity. Side note: just because you have freedoms doesn't mean you are the only person in the nation who has freedoms. I don't care if my face mask makes you uncomfortable. I don't care if my tattoos make you uncomfortable. I don't care if you don't like the clothes I wear. I have the right to dress as I want, and I can have whatever tattoos I want on my body. You don't have to approve of anything, but you don't get to tell me what I can and cannot wear. You're not my parent. You want to point and laugh? Go ahead, you have the right. But you don't have the right to tell me that because my dress looks funny to you I can't wear it. I'm in line with the city's public decency laws, so I can wear what I want. This does not infringe on your rights. Being uncomfortable around someone or being slightly inconvenienced by people in society is not oppression. Life is not simple. Virtually nothing fits into the neat, clean-cut, black and white, tidy little boxes we like to put things in. Race isn't binary. You can be black, white, Asian, and a handful of other ethnicities all at once. Sexuality, gender, religion, politics, and even cat versus dog preference all exist on grand spectrums. Treating people you disagree with as being in box B while you're in box A is just a way for you to trivialize their human complexity in order for yourself to feel good about your own ideas. Your parents can be absolutely well respected and loved by their peers, can even be very good people overall, but still bad at parenting. I still can't resolve this in my own mind sometimes, how my parents achieved so much but managed to be very bad for my anxiety and mental health. They just didn't know how to talk to me properly about anxiety, and I guess they thought I'd grow out of it. I sure showed them. Sob. If you're in your 20s or older, you've likely already spent the majority of your lifetime's hours that you'll get to spend with your parents and siblings. If you enjoy spending time with them, make more time for them because it's dwindling. If you don't enjoy their company, then congrats, you're almost, or entirely, done with them. The impermanence of everything. In that inevitable, excruciatingly human moment, we are offered a powerful choice. This choice is perhaps one of the most vitally important choices we will ever make, and it determines the course of our lives from that moment forward. The choice is this: will we interpret this loss as so unjust, unfair, and devastating that we feel punished, angry, forever and fatally wounded, or, as our heart, torn apart, bleeds its anguish of sheer, wordless grief, will we somehow feel this loss as an opportunity to become more tender, more open, more passionately alive, more grateful for what remains? Hugh Muller. It gets better does not apply to everyone. Some will live with their depression till they snap. Some will be alone to the grave. Some will never achieve the financial stability they sought for. Life is like a cake made from rotting flesh with frosting of shit, okay? Take your optimism and go away. What you think about very often becomes what your brain occupies itself with thinking about. We all, even neurodivergents, can take responsibility for what we allow to occupy our thoughts. If you're always studying your happiness or your unhappiness, those become your resting thoughts. It affects the lens through which you see the world. Maybe you aren't actually cynical, distrustful, or jaded. It could just be bad thinking habits. Not everything happens for a reason. Also, sometimes the reason is that people can be shitty, plain and simple. I'm a Christian and devoted to my beliefs, but when people pull this crap, it makes me so mad. No, it's not all for a reason. Love can't always last forever. Relationships end, and sometimes it's no one's fault. Family, friends, lovers, spouses. It can hurt when it doesn't. You may feel that phantom pain of a broken heart, but you have the good times, and you'll have more good times in the future. It's okay to hurt sometimes. Everything that happens to you is your fault, but it is your responsibility to respond to it. Too many people just simply refuse to take responsibility for the things in their life they aren't happy with. People need to grow up and realize they have two choices: do something about it or accept it. Bitching and moaning as though life owes you something different is childish. That isn't to say you shouldn't mourn when bad stuff happens. Life can be harsh and cruel, and when bad shit happens, it is more than fair to mourn those bad things, but eventually you have to either adopt and move on, or accept it and move on. You can be the nicest, most caring and loving person in the world. You can be everything a person wants emotionally and mentally, but they still may not like you because you're ugly to them. People will always treat attractive people better. It's not right, but it's the way the human species is. Change doesn't come from above. If you want to see the world change, you not only have to actively work toward its fruition, you have to be an example of it. Those in power benefiting from imposition on the public are conspicuously not going to want to work toward dismantling that system. By being a living example of change, you dismantle the indifference oppressive systems are built on, and simultaneously prove all levels of society are capable of change. 90% of people will lead average lives, have an average job and not follow their dream job even if they have all the potential to do so, and that's okay. Also, life is not fair. It's not unfair, it's just life. Things happen sometimes for a reason, most of the time for no reason at all. It's random. An animal. You like to think about yourself as a somehow higher being, but your brain is being powered by chemicals and electrical impulses, just like in any other living being, and it comes with a lot of flaws. You think your decisions are logical and rationalized, but in fact most of the time you are driven by instinct, feelings, intuition that is imprinted in you in the form of wires connecting different parts of your brain in specific way. Often your decisions are made for you and you don't ever realize. Your conscious self makes up reasons post factum and takes those decisions as their own. You are prone to biases. You are prone to oversimplification and lazy beliefs. But that is just the way you are built. It is scary, I know, but for me being human doesn't mean being a somehow transcended, higher creation. Being human is about realizing the flaws of your biological makeup and trying to overcome them. It is not always possible. Sometimes I too fall victim to things mentioned above, but all I can do is try and be aware of things that drive the unconscious part of myself in everyday life, and then try and not give in. Autism is not a disease that neither needs nor can be cured. Autism is not a mental retardation either, and there is no such thing as high functioning and low functioning. Autism is a spectrum, represented by the rainbow infinity symbol. The spectrum is not a one-way street, it's a whole roundabout. Unless you know people, you aren't ever going to be rich and/or famous. Accept your life for what it is. Do the best you can, and enjoy it. Edit, and half the replies are people in denial, pointing out the tiny minority that made it on their own. The Disney Star Wars trilogy is hot garbage with no redeemable qualities. Kathleen Kennedy is a woke dumbass who was given the keys to the most profitable film franchise in history, and destroyed its revenue stream and disenfranchised its most loyal fans in less than 10 years. Only George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni can bring back its glory. Help us, George, John, and Dave. You're our only hope. Life is pain. Everyone will let you down at some point. Everybody you know will betray you at some point. Not everybody that you meet will like you, even if they have no apparent reason to dislike you. Social standing, income, personal health beliefs and morals, and who you perceive yourself to be are all meaningless, as we're all just marching towards a hole in the ground. There are no higher entities. If somebody can prove it, I'll believe. But it's not up to me to disprove your statements to the contrary. Write about everything. I don't care about your background, your religious beliefs, your education, your rise from the streets, your ups and downs, your sides to sides, your attitude, you being thrown to the side. You are a fucking snowflake, 1 in 10 million billion. What you know is not what everyone knows, and until you stop putting labels and ideas and thoughts and politics and whatever gives you a boner when you talk, or girl boner, cause I don't know what girl boners are. Listen to those who are different. Understand, it doesn't mean you accept, but it means you don't hate. And can we all agree, hate is a bitch. Apologies are for the people apologizing and not for the person being apologized to. If you're apologizing to someone about something you can't undo or fix, the apology is for you. It's so that you can sleep at night again. I do not screw with these kind of apologies. No nice closure talks for cheaters. No nice understanding discussions for the friend that deliberately lied, etc. I listen to apologies for things that are sincerely accidental and only if someone is offering to do something to remedy it. Otherwise, the most moral thing is for the person to live with it. It's why I don't believe forgive and forget is good advice to give. It's just ridiculous. If somebody actually did something seriously wrong, shame on you for crying if they do it again. TLDR, we all know most apologies are BS. Sometimes making the right decisions can make you sad. I was accepted in a big college which was far away from my house. There was no single holiday and you can't visit your family for 2 years. But I had to let it go and accept this slightly below-level college because I wanted to stay near my family in case of emergencies. Unless you're famous or have done something to impact the world, most people will forget you after your death. Given 100 years or so, your grave will be dug up and plot the next dude in the same hole you were just in, and the cycle repeats. Life isn't fair. I know it's obvious, but I think it's something that some people really butt their heads against. Not everyone is out to get you because you're black, a woman, a man, whatever trait. Many times people are assholes to you because they're assholes to you. Sometimes it's deep-seated hatred, and real racism/sexism/etc. Either way, the quicker you can tell yourself that you don't concern yourself with assholes, the better you'll be. Government is not your best friend, so don't get heartbroken if you pay all those taxes and they still treat you like a boss when you go to get your health card, driver's license renewed, and go to get other simple things done, and always make a play on their end, with a note for the degree of consistency, like you're asking for the world, when their necessary funding, to stay in business, so to speak, comes solely from the category you belong to, which is taxable citizenry, which always experience that more or less. Get used to that. That's good, never going to change. Bureaucracy. That many of these AskReddit facts are just how many view the world at this time, or just dumb deep shower thoughts. Even this one, people don't ever actually act or talk like this, I swear to God. Nothing is ever black and white. We all just need to take ourselves less seriously. There will really be justice provided for the ways in which the world has wronged you. Stop waiting on apologies and karma. Make the world better by the knowledge you've gained from being wronged, and work to ensure others don't experience the same. Very large number of people in the US are stupid and/or racist. The same type of people are a cancer to America, and it does not seem as though we'll ever be rid of them. It is getting worse and worse.